Nineveh never slept. Even at night, when the gardens fell silent and the massive gates closed with the sound of grinding stone, the empire continued to breathe beneath its walls. Guards stood motionless beneath winged bulls carved with human faces, while oil lamps flickered across palace walls covered in scenes of war, execution, and triumph. From this city ruled Ashurbanipal, a man who did not merely conquer the world, but sought to understand it, record it, and break it at the same time.
He was born into violence. Ashurbanipal was the son of Esarhaddon, king of Assyria, in an empire where power rarely passed peacefully from father to son. Dynasties collapsed through betrayal. Brothers murdered brothers. Sons turned against fathers. Esarhaddon understood that if he did not act early, his death would plunge the empire into civil war. So he chose Ashurbanipal. In 672 BCE, he named him Crown Prince of Assyria, while Ashurbanipal's half-brother, Shamash-Shum-Ukin, was appointed ruler of Babylon. On the surface, it appeared balanced. In truth, it was a blade driven between two brothers. Ashurbanipal was not raised as a ceremonial prince, but as an instrument of the state. He was trained in administration, intelligence, and the management of fear. His teachers were generals and scholars. One taught him how to crush men by force. The other taught him how to dominate minds. Ashurbanipal learned to read and write, a rare skill among kings. He studied ancient texts, mastered forgotten languages, interpreted omens, and understood rituals and prayers. At the same time, he hunted lions, practiced archery, rode horses, and hardened his body for war. In his world, knowledge and violence were not opposites. They were extensions of the same authority. When Esarhaddon died suddenly in Haran in 669 BCE, the empire did not tremble. Ashurbanipal assumed power without resistance. His grandmother forced nobles and royal family alike to swear loyalty. The throne was his, and with it came dominion over lands stretching from the Persian Gulf to Egypt. His first strike had to be swift and unmistakable. Egypt rebelled almost immediately. Pharaoh Taharka advanced into the Nile Delta, believing Assyria distracted. He was wrong. Assyrian armies descended with brutal precision. Cities that opened their gates survived. Those that resisted became warnings. Rebel leaders were dragged to Nineveh in chains, humiliated before crowds. Some were displayed publicly, others vanished entirely. When rebellion flared again, Memphis fell and Thebes was sacked. Temples were looted, statues of gods carried off. Priests left to watch their world collapse. Ashurbanipal did not hide his cruelty. He displayed it. In the palaces of Nineveh, walls were carved with scenes of punishment, men impaled on stakes, skin flayed from bodies, severed heads piled at city gates. Captured kings were shown kneeling, bound like animals, led on leashes before the throne. One defeated ruler was forced to wear a dog collar and stand at the city gate, reduced to a living symbol of submission. This was not uncontrolled rage, it was policy. What made Ashurbanipal truly terrifying was that he ordered everything to be recorded. His inscriptions described punishments with cold pride. He wrote of burning cities, deporting entire populations, poisoning lands so nothing would grow again. Fear was meant to outlive armies. Memory was a weapon. The greatest threat to his rule did not come from foreign kings, but from his own brother. Shamash-Shum-Ukin, ruling Babylon, absorbed the city's ancient spirit of resistance. Over time, he assembled a coalition: Elam, Egypt, Phoenicia, Judah, Arab and Chaldean tribes, all prepared to rise together. Had they succeeded, Assyria might have fallen. Ashurbanipal uncovered the plot and moved carefully. Babylon was surrounded, not stormed, but starved. For 3 years, the city suffocated. Hunger became the blade. Food disappeared, then animals, then dignity. Ashurbanipal waited. In 648 BCE, as flames consumed the palace, Shamash Shumukin took his own life. Ashurbanipal did not destroy Babylon. He rebuilt it. Mercy was unnecessary. Control was absolute. Elam received no such restraint. The war dragged on for years until Assyrian armies reached Susa. The city was annihilated, temples desecrated, sacred places erased. Ashurbanipal declared that Elam no longer existed, not merely defeated, but erased from history. It was destruction as ritual, oblivion as punishment. During his triumph, 4 captive kings were forced to pull his chariot. The world lay beneath his feet, and yet the same man who ruled through terror pursued knowledge with obsession. In Nineveh, Ashurbanipal created something unprecedented, a vast library designed to collect all the wisdom of Mesopotamia. Scribes were sent across the empire to copy texts from temples and cities. Myths, medicine, astronomy, rituals, spells, mathematics, history. It is because of him that the Epic of Gilgamesh survived. Because of him, the voices of ancient civilizations were preserved. Ashurbanipal believed knowledge was power. Omens revealed the future. Stars dictated war. Ancient texts contain answers to questions not yet asked. He claimed he could read writings from before the Great Flood, that he could debate scholars in forgotten languages. Perhaps this was arrogance. Perhaps it was truth. After his death, the empire collapsed quickly, too vast, too hated. In 612 BCE, Nineveh was destroyed by a coalition of enemies. Palaces burned, the city fell silent. But the fire that destroyed Assyria preserved its memory. Clay tablets were baked hard beneath the ruins, surviving for over 2,000 years. Ashurbanipal vanished. His terror faded. His words endured. The king who ruled through fear became the guardian of memory. And that may be the most unsettling legacy of all. Subscribe to Dark Age Tales, where history never sleeps and never dies.